And he still fucking won. And with real-life Bond villain Elon Musk beavering away on X, spreading a flurry of slurry across the Gooniverse, and Jeff Bezos crouched in a filleting position ready to receive the royal orange cock of the tax-dodging
Warning, the following contains images of animals in their natural habitat. Viewer discretion.
Tax-dodging multi-millionaire felon who's now running the show. America is now a fully fledged plutocracy.
Re-envisioned and reinvented the way new...
Just call them pennies from government heaven.
The United States of entitlement.
A nation of takers.
I'm gonna come.
Scary.
Which I think is why it's recommended you only watch a tiny pinhole poked in a piece of cardboard. You can't look directly. It will indelibly burn your soul. In our first course of this meal, an amuse-douche, if you will.
And Trump is going to try, through executive order, to end birthright citizenship. It's a constitutional right that those born on American soil are U.S. citizens, regardless of their parents' immigration status.
My recent election
has helped to polarize the country by poisoning the Republican brand. Oh, yes.
Betrayal and all of these many betrayals that...
Their ravenous greed burst through America's chest like the monster in Alien.
And to give the people back their faith.
We have conditioned people to look to the government to be their answer for every problem they have and take zero responsibility.
Their wealth.
Moocher class.
Their democracy.
Freeloaders in America.
And indeed, their freedom.
Entitlement mentality.
From this moment on, America's
nation of moochers
decline is over.
I want to talk about what the Democrats have been completely missing. You want to know why we lost?
January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
It would make Ebenezer Scrooge go, hey, take it easy. These are people we're talking about.
You want to know why we lost? Please watch this video. And while you're at it, like and subscribe.
So for dessert tonight, we serve you baked alasshole.
As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust.
Subsidize freeloaders. Give me these goodies. Give me a cell phone. Pay my rent.
For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment.
Bailouts from cradle to grave.
Has extracted power and wealth from our citizens.
People who sleep till noon.
While the pillars of our society.
Entitlement society.
Sucking off, the nipple of the government.
Dominant force.
Lay broken.
The handout nation rolls on to these so-called poor people.
On the couch eating bonbons.
It's not as complicated as you might think.
You're not being mean to poor people
today. I am being mean to poor people.
Why?
Frankly, I am.
Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback.
It's telling the truth right now.
But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
We keep kicking their ass. It's the only place you can feel good about your country. You're going to give us the emotional side of the story? People need $15 per hour to live on.
And in one sense, it's way more complicated than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, they turned it up way too high.
The image we have of poor people as starving and living in squalor really is not accurate. Many of them have things. What they lack is the richness of spirit.
Of those events remain off limits to the general public, but not off limits perhaps to the influential politicians and tech class billionaires.
Do I really have to explain the metaphor?
Anyway, you boy, what day is it today? Is it Christmas Day? Oh, go up and buy all the gooses. Keep them out of those lazy, poor hands. And if you see a boy on crutches, push him down. He's not crippled. He's crippled at heart. He lacks a richness of legsness.
You might learn something as opposed to just having your worldview reinforced.
Jacob Chansley, we know him as
better.
Also the QAnon shaman.
Who goes before a congressional committee.
That's us.
He put out something on social media where he said,
essentially says that
both sides
to be paid to have sex.
I got a pardon, baby. Thank you, President Trump. Now I am going to buy some mother effing guns.
We're certainly covering it this morning.
Slut, right?
It's really remarkable to see these tech CEOs or founders, in the case of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, standing alongside members of the Trump cabinet.
They got better seats than some members
well, it's just remarkable.
There's smoke coming out of my underwear.
A product of lack of self-awareness or cynicism or stupidity or evil. I don't know anymore, and I'm starting to lack a richness of
The CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, who's there.
Thank God.
As well as Bezos, the founder of Amazon.
Thank God.
Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, and Elon Musk from X.
You guys, you're the best.
This has been, do I really have to explain the metaphor?
If any race of people should not have guilt about slavery, it's Caucasians.
Number one.
Obama's entire economic program is reparations.
I want to talk about a conversation that I had with a true believer, MAGA right-wing Republican. It was quite interesting.
Overnight, with the stroke of a pen, President Trump issuing sweeping pardons to nearly all of the rioters charged for their actions on January 6th.
Thank God.
Saying of the pardons, the preemptive pardons that Joe Biden announced this morning, Donald Trump said they were disgraceful.
This is January 6th.
Trump even granting clemency to the more than 600 people charged with assaulting or resisting law enforcement.
There now, President-elect Donald Trump, along with President Biden.
Man, next time you're in a Uber pool, just remember.
The motorcade together.
He was telling me all about how we're close to the collapse.
He is moving all around and shaking, and it's purely an act. This is really shameless of Michael J. Fox.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. God bless Fox.
He was telling me how the wildfires, the terrorist attacks, this is all part of a grand scheme to bring down American industry.
Well, I guess it's time for our favorite game show. Did you even try to research this?
We will not forget our country.
These programs do make people lazy.
We will not forget our Constitution.
Get food stamps. It makes it easy for them to sponge off their girlfriends and spouses.
And we will not forget our God.
When did we ever forget God? You know, the last guy didn't. They went to high school together. Oh, yeah, God, a real prankster. Took a guy's rib and made him a girlfriend out of it. No joke.
Now, many of my compadres don't necessarily agree with me politically. And some of them are crazier than others. But this one caught me off guard.
So the more of the leeches that he can get to vote for him.
It was explained to me that the government controls the weather.
Admittedly, this nomination is unconventional. The nominee is unconventional. That may be what makes Mr. Hegseth an excellent choice.
Have you been involved in discussions about using the active duty military inside the United States?
Senator, I am not yet the Secretary of Defense.
Right. I'm
if
just
confirmed, I would be party to any number of
So you haven't been in any of these
which
conversations?
I would not reveal what I have discussed with the President of the United States.
No, just have you been in?
Are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical.
How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down?
And they could put these fires out if they wanted to. But instead they started them.
And that's our game.
Also, I hate to point this out, but according to multiple reports, as he was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, Trump did not place his hand on the Bible. Yo, you forget someone, bro?
And they voting these imbeciles in office. If you go to California, you run into a lot of Republicans. They don't deserve anything, to be honest with you.
You know, like I encourage everybody to try to play it cool. You know, try to make funny comments. Stick to your guns. But they're just going to get pissed off if you tell them they sound ridiculous. And I learned a lot.
Well, we often poke fun at them for lying and sucking. They do care very deeply about certain issues, like
We will drill, baby, drill.
or women's legs, or
The Alien Enemies Act of 1798. I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign.
Good point. In fact, yesterday,
We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it.
A free market is perfectly compatible with also us making investment in good public schools.
We will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
Public universities, investments in public parks.
For this purpose, we are the External Revenue Service.
If we do those things, the values and the character that those kids are learning.
And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
They're less likely to get pregnant as teens
As
and less
rocket
likely
debris.
to engage in drugs
Mid-air
and less likely
explosion.
to be involved in the criminal justice system.
A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
That is a reinforcement of the values and characters that we want.
you know who else talked with his hands? Hitler.
The effort to suggest that the poor are sponges, leeches, don't want to work, are lazy, becomes an entire narrative.
Really?
Yeah, really.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders.
Really?
Really?
And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Really?
Yes! What's with your tone of disgust and disappointment?
I didn't learn anything about why COVID didn't work. I didn't learn anything in the conversation about how weather works. What I learned is that Democrats are missing the whole damn program.
The president has a remarkably firm grasp.
The president is spinning his own policy failures.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Martha?
Really?
And I know this because the very next day, which was yesterday, the whole thing blew up on Twitter Fex or X or whatever the fuck.
What? What?
We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it.
There's liquid gold in them there hills.
That is such a rich buffet of bull. I can't. That is a 3-course prefix. I'm sorry, prick fest. For starters,
The things that I learned I wouldn't find out till the next day. Democrats are missing the whole point. Now, this person was convinced that they themselves had seen the documents. I don't believe he was lying. I believe he was convinced. But yesterday, Elon retweeted the exact same conspiracy theory that he got from Alex Jones. Alex Jones tweeted it the same day that my friend and I had that conversation.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
There's a whole ecosystem, an entire world that we're not a part of.
Slightly larger than they used to be.
These people are talking amongst themselves, and we better get into these conversations if you ever want to find out how to beat these evil fuckers. Because let me tell you, the issue isn't Kamala. The issue is a massive media ecosphere that lives and exists to perpetuate their lies.
National prayer service at the Washington National Cathedral just concluded. Before it did, the Bishop of Washington made a direct appeal to the president in the congregation.
Reverend Buddy concluded her sermon with a direct appeal to Donald Trump on the issue of Christian mercy for the weakest.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
What do you make of Pope Francis?
He's had some statements that to me sound kind of liberal. It has taken me aback.
A so-called bishop politicizing an inaugural prayer service. She goes on a far-left woke tirade in front of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
They were forced to listen to the rantings of a lunatic.
Whose house runs house? I said, whose house runs house? Whose house? Say what? Runs house.
The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone. The president went on to call the service, quote, boring and uninspiring.
The Pope isn't conservative enough for these people. So let's just stop giving in to them.
There are still people willing to confront them to their faces, and when that happens, Trump and his ilk immediately melt down.
Their chronically angry war for ideological purity, where every aspect of life becomes a two-dimensional battle for America's soul, it ages you.
You know who the first person that said mainstream media can't be listening to the mainstream media, you need to only listen to ours? That was Joseph Goebbels in 1934.
Even watching it is killing me. This was me at the start of tonight's show.
I wonder if Republicans know that. I suspect they do.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
Something is happening here, and what it is ain't exactly clear. And there's a man with a gun over there. He's telling all of us we need to be aware. They are. And we need to find out where they're coming from.
We will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. And I think this was a better speech than the one I made upstairs, okay?
Because Alex Jones is back, baby. Elon Musk is nothing more than Alex Jones with a shit ton of money. Hell, Alex Jones had a shit ton of money. These people all are working together. You wonder why all the billionaires got together? To make sure they get Trump? Because they're going to make sure they get their piece. Democracy dies in Muskness. Okay?
And between JD and Melania.
And broke his
FEMA. And anybody else that heard, please, sir, don't say these things.
And the reality is, Democrats have their eyes wide shut.
Because, you know, it's action, not words that count.
What matters to the right is discrediting anything that they believe harms their side. That's their prime directive.
You really think Elon bought Twitter because he wanted to control the tweets? No. He didn't pay $44 billion for Twitter. He paid $44 billion to own America. And hell, I think he just made his last payment. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy.
And unlike Captain Kirk, they stick with the prime directive. They don't just drop the protocol anytime they feel like humping a green girl in a unitard. Look.
Maybe if I do well, I'll get a pint. Pickable, I just put them bookers in my chain. Pickable, 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Pickable, 7.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't negotiate, let's investigate, we'll accelerate.